This is the Engines of Our Ingenuity, made possible by the Friends of KUHF, Houston.
Today, America tries to get off the ground in World War I. The University of Houston's College of Engineering presents this series about the machines that make our civilization run and the people whose ingenuity created them. Why, wondered National Air and Space Museum Director Walter Boyne, was the United States, which had given birth to the airplane, so absolutely indifferent to its development before World War I? Then he goes on to tell us about the DeHavilland DH-4. By the time the war began in 1914, Germany had spent $45 million on military aviation, Russia $23 million, and France $13 million. America had hardly spent $400,000 on military aircraft. Boyne answers his own question. There was no apparent money in aviation. We had invested everything in railways and highways. All we had was the Curtiss Jenny. In 1915, it went to war not against Germany, but against Pancho Villa in Mexico. 8 Jennies and 10 pilots were no match for the harsh Southwest. Jennies weren't meant to go more than about 50 miles from their base. They crashed, they got lost. Pershing never did catch Pancho Villa. When we finally entered the war, we appropriated $13 million for airplanes and went to the European airplane builders for designs. The British de Havilland Company had built a series of airplanes, the best of which was the Rolls-Royce-powered DH-4. The British finally sent us one to use as a template. And so we set out to build DH-4s. In the end, we spent $640 million on them. We switched from the British system of handcrafting airplanes to our automobile production methods. We developed our own so-called Liberty engine, a 400-horsepower water-cooled V-12. The American-built DH-4 was renamed the Liberty plane, and at first it had so many design bugs, people called it the Flaming Coffin. When my father joined the Air Service late in the war, he trained in Jennies. The Liberty plane never did reach him, but it did reach France in May 1918. The DH-4's combat service was not distinguished. It was far too ponderous to dogfight the German Fokker triplanes and biplanes. It didn't carry enough load to be a useful bomber. It was a clear matter of too little and too late, but there's more to the story. Thousands of DH-4s were left in America on Armistice Day, and even more Liberty engines. The DH-4 hadn't been worth much in combat, but it was a big, solid, stable biplane with a tubular steel frame and what turned out to be a fine engine. When you crash-landed a DH-4, you walked away alive. Right after the war, the Army began airmail service with the DH-4. DH-4s with skis served in the Arctic. Engineers modified them every way imaginable. The Liberty engine was so good we relied on it instead of moving ahead. It probably slowed American aircraft engine development. And so the DH-4 takes a strange place in aviation history. It couldn't stand up to the famous World War I airplanes, yet the forgotten DH-4 was still in service when all that remained of Fokkers and Spads were the legends that lingered after them. I'm John Lienhardt at the University of Houston, where we're interested in the way inventive minds work.